Yo, 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 what up, everybody? Here again for another Start Sit stream. And let's be clear, we have not streamed on a Sunday morning in quite a while. We're currently watching this London game, watching the Jacksonville Jaguars absolutely put it to the Patriots. And so I'm here to answer all your last second Start Sit questions, give you a second opinion if you have them. And let's jump into it. Raul2 said, for my flex spot, you could put in Tank Dell or Tyrone Tracy. Who would you put in? Raul, I'll put in Tank Dell for sure. So Debo said the same thing. For sure, yeah, go with Tank, especially with us not knowing what the splits are going to look like between Tyrone Tracy and with Devin Singletary. I mean, we're excited for Tyrone Tracy and what he's been, but going forward, you're talking about Tank Dell with no Nico Collins this week. You're talking with Tyrone Tracy and having to split carries with Devin Singletary. For sure, go with Tank Dell there. Steel Horse said, Reed or Higgins for flex this week. Well, I don't know if you've met a more Jaden Reed believer than me, Steel Horse, so I'll be going with Jaden Reed, have him as a top 14 option. I do have T. Higgins 3 spots behind Jaden Reed, but personally for me, I would be going with Jaden Reed and that overall upside over a guy like T. Higgins there. Steel. The Roll says, Cam Akers or Mike Williams, full PPR, 0.10 a first down and 0.25 a carry. The Roll. So we're talking about 2 back-end options for you. Honestly, for me, my guy, I'm going with Cam Akers, especially with that 0.25 a carry. Not that I just think Mike Williams now with Devontae Adams, and you still got Garrett Wilson, you still got Tyler Conklin out there competing for targets. And you got Allen Lazard. So Mike Williams kind of slides into that wide receiver 4 role, and then you got Cam Akers as the clear 2 there for the Minnesota Vikings with Ty Chandler struggles. So personally for me, I go with Cam Akers. RP10 says, would you guys trade Devontae for DK? And RP10, he said he only will do it for Devontae and Hunt. That feels like a lot, especially with how Kareem Hunt's been playing the last 2 weeks, and especially with Isaiah Pacheco's injury looking like it might not even be resolved by the time we get to like the fantasy football playoffs. So honestly, for me, I probably hold your side. I do love DK Metcalf a ton. Don't get me wrong. I have them about 7 spots difference in my rest of season rankings, but is 7 spots enough for me to give up a guy like Kareem Hunt who could end up really being beneficial for you guys down the line? That would be huge. If you guys are watching, hit that like button, helps me out so much answering all your Start Sit questions. Gabe, appreciate you being here. Shout out Gabriel. You said, yo, do I start Scary Terry or Zay this week? Ooh, you are in a little bit of a pickle there, Gabriel, because you got 2 really great players. You got Scary Terry, who's been on an absolute heater, and they're going up against Carolina, which is a great match. But then Zay Flowers, which is projected by Vegas to be a high-scoring game versus Tampa Bay. Gabriel, I personally go with Scary Terry. The fact that you can't start both of them tells me that you have a really great squad that you are debating there. Debo said, say Zay. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for our guy Gabriel. Nick said, Marvin Harrison Jr. give Amari a shot with Buffalo. As always, thanks for your insight. Of course, bro, of course. I think this week is one where in the spots where I have Amari, if I have a better option, I'm looking elsewhere. Not because I don't think Amari is going to be an absolute killer. I mean, it's going to be so much better for Amari Cooper with the Buffalo Bills. The part that we're worried about is, of course, that snap share. What's it going to look like this week? For me, I'm personally still going to be rolling out Marvin Harrison Jr. over Amari Cooper. I understand that might be a little bit risky with him coming off a concussion and all that good jazz and the fact that he hasn't been performing, yada, 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 yada. Personally, for me, Nick, I would be going with Marvin Harrison Jr. just because I think he'll get more snap share. But like we said, if Amari Cooper just catches a touchdown, does some work in the red zone, that could definitely make it a little bit closer. But for me, I lean with Marvin Harrison Jr. there. Nick. Big Body God said, good morning, brother. Good morning, all. Excited for a beautiful day of football. And like I said, guys, I don't know how long I'm going to stream here today. I just wanted to make sure I jumped in. I haven't been able to. I didn't stream yesterday, so I wanted to make sure I could get in and get your guys' questions answered. Jack Does Skit says, I have both Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Do you think they can both be startable wide receiver options, or should I trade one away? I definitely think you should probably look to trade one away, but it's going to be hard to trade one away right now with them both being traded. I mean, I think Devontae Adams got a bump up in his overall rest of season value, but then Garrett Wilson took a hit. So it's a little bit of kind of, I think, just playing the spots. If you feel better about one over the other, like I do think Devontae Adams probably has more receiving upside than a guy, I say receiving touchdown upside than Garrett Wilson, then I think you can kind of play though, and depending on how you want to leverage that, potentially get out of one of those options, Jack. But I would definitely wait until one pops off. Big Body God said, in a pickle, you have Ladd, Wandell, and Mooney. Need one flex PPR. Big Body God, I would be personally going with Darnell Mooney, my guy. Uzi in the booth says, DeMario Douglas letting me down this week with his illness stuff. Stroud or Darnold this week? I got Darnold. Yeah, I'm personally Uzi in the booth going with Darnold. I have Darnold as my QB7. I have Stroud as my QB10 this week. Vanucci, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to you. Like I say, guys, if this is your first time tuning into the channel, appreciate all the love and support. We're answering every start sit question this season, so I want you guys here and helping you guys win this week. You said bench 2, so what we got? Cooper, Dell, JMO, Tracy, Judy. So personally, I'm starting Dell. I'm starting JMO, and then I think if I'm you, Vanucci, I think I'm risking it here with Amari Cooper as my third option, and then I will be benching Tracy, and I will be benching Judy. There, my guy. Thanks so much for tuning in. Soul said Mason or Cook. Mason or Cook. I've been getting absolutely reamed for Jordan Mason in a lot of my comments because everyone's worried about the injury. I did push Jordan Mason down my rankings slightly, but not enough. But I'm still taking James Cook over Jordan Mason this week versus Tennessee. Really like this matchup for Buffalo. RP10 said start Geno or Kyler now that Marvin Harrison Jr. is back. Personally for me, I'm still this week. It's not even, it's more of a matchup thing. Even if he did have Marv, I wasn't feeling great about it. I'm still leaning with Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith has a better matchup than Kyler does going up against the Atlanta Falcons. So personally for me, RP10, I'd be going with Geno Smith over Kyler Murray, which is sad because the Konami quarterback upside just hasn't been there for Geno so far. The role said traded Chase and DK for Devontae Smith, Marvin Harrison Jr. at 25. Second thoughts. Yeah. I think a lot of people could say, hey, Marvin Harrison Jr. could get close to Chase. I personally, for me, when I read this over the role, I instantly leaned with you also giving up DK. That's a pretty big piece. Like, I prefer DK over Devontae Smith, and then it's Marvin Harrison Jr. in a second for Chase. I mean, I kind of wanted your package side, honestly, the role. But I see why you would do it with the upside of Marvin Harrison Jr. And then Soul said Stafford or Dalton, and I have Deontay and Kupp is out. Let me pull up my quarterback rankings for this week for you, Soul. Personally, for me, I'd be going with Matty Boy Stafford. But I do understand with no Kupp, the worry there. So if you want to go with Andy Dalton, I have them honestly 2 spots apart, Soul. So if you prefer to go with a weapon where you know that there is actually a weapon for Andy Dalton over a guy like Matthew Stafford, you can go that way for sure. The role said this 21-year-old is hitting me up. Goodness, LOL. Ravito said Mark Andrews or Dalton Schultz this week. I will personally be going, let me pull up the rankings, with Dalton Schultz this week. Ravito. I understand though, Mark Andrews has kind of looked like he's trying to bounce back. Looks like he's kind of trying to bounce back. Mr. E, appreciate you tuning in. You said Irving or Madison and JSN or Pickens. Cool. So 2 different options here for us to dive into. Mr. E, if I were you, I would personally be going with Bucky Irving over Madison, but that's just me and my rankings. I do have them 3 spots apart. Now, the one thing that I do want to hit on with Bucky Irving is they did kind of say that they're going to be going with a hot hand. So I just believe that that's going to end up being Bucky. So that's the way that I kind of lean there, Mr. E. And then in regards to JSN or Pickens, Mr. E, I will be going with JSN. Not that I don't trust Russell Wilson, but I really don't trust Russell Wilson. Mr. Trey said full PPR pick 1, Addison, Dubs, Mooney, or Juju. Thanks, dude. Thanks so much for always tuning in, Mr. Trace, and always throwing in your good start sit questions. But this week I will personally be going with Jordan Addison. I do have Jordan Addison pretty high this week, so I have him 1 spot ahead of Mooney. So if you want to debate, it's really between Mooney and Jordan Addison for me, and then kind of going from there. But if you prefer Mooney with what he's been doing I know last week was not as good as that week 5 matchup. I just like Jordan Addison this week, Mr. Trace, personally. The role said Swift top 10 dynasty running back. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. The dynasty running backs, you just can't buy them. RP10 on my life. Mr. Trace, yeah. You said JSN Downs, no Flacco, JMO, Hishu, or Pitts in a flex spot. I'll be going with JSN. I actually have some family members going to that Indianapolis Colts game. I'm worried about Downs. I think if Downs can definitely perform this week, we could be looking at him as a weekly starter. I'm just worried about Anthony Richardson. And then, yeah, I'm worried a little bit about the Juju Hammy. And then I just prefer JSN over Pitts for sure. Alan, good to see you. You said, my guy, what's up? Pick 3 PPR. Who you got? Devontae Adams, Debo, Deontay Johnson, Tyreek Hill, Juju. So we're starting Debo. We're starting Deontay Johnson. And then it's between Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Juju. And personally, I go with Devontae Adams because I do think he has that touchdown upside. Soul said, start 2. London, Evans, McLaurin, Amon-Ra, Zay, Smitty. Start 2. Amon-Ra for sure. And then it's between Evans, McLaurin. I can't believe you only get to start 2 here, bro. Like, what type of team is this? I think I lean with McLaurin this week. I lean with McLaurin over... Where do I have Drake London, though? No, I lean Drake London. Sorry. I go Drake London, and I go Amon-Ra. The fact that I only get to start 2 here, Soul, is kind of ridiculous. I want you to know that. The role says, can I going to be good to go, or do I need to do some research on him? What? He's active with that illness. I guess probably just like a cold or a flu, and he's back to go. Looks like he got some fluids, so should be good to go there. The roll. If not, Charbs or Irving. If K9's out though, I still go with I would go with Charbs if K9's out though. Anthony said start James Cook or Jordan Mason in full PPR. Thanks, Anthony. I go with James Cook. I have him 1 spot ahead of Jordan Mason in my rankings this week. Appreciate you, Anthony. Gabriel said start 3 Adams, Cooper, Debo, Chubb, JSN. I will be going with JSN. I will be going with Debo. And then it's between Adams and Cooper. And then personally, I'd be going with Adams just because I trust Adams knowing the offense a little bit better, getting a little bit more playing time. So JSN, Debo, and Adams would be how I go, Gabriel. Now, I just don't trust Chubb, not only in the offense, but week 1 off of a major. We'll have to see what that explosion looks like. And then, of course, we're a little bit worried about Cooper and that overall snap share. But going forward, I'm glad that you do have Amari Cooper because you got a good squad there. Thanks, Soul. And then Alan said, keep up the good work, brother. Of course. Like I said, guys, we're answering every start sit question here today. If we don't have a ton, because like I said, we're firing these away. No worries. We can definitely, like I said, we can keep it to a very short stream. But I wanted to see if there's any final start sit questions. Like I said, I'm going to get some food, but I wanted to jump on live if there was a ton of questions that we're going to be pouring in. Or not, like I said, we don't do a ton of Sunday morning live streams, mostly because we do a Saturday and a Friday. But since I was at the Michigan State Iowa game, which was kind of trash, to be honest, for if you're an Iowa fan, and which my in-laws were, then it was kind of terrible. So keep pouring these questions in. Zachary, appreciate you being here. You said, is Eckler a flex slave because Robinson is questionable and against the Panthers? He definitely is. It just depends, Zach, who you're going to be looking at him versus. So if you have some options, I will give you my opinion on either or. In like, I have him as a top 70 play this week, so it's not bad. But I still have him down as like my RB 28 this week. So nothing crazy, but it depends on who you're valuing him against, Zachary. So if you have a question mark, or like if you're like you have both Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson, then I'd feel comfortable playing Austin Eckler if there's no Brian Robinson. Shaiwan, appreciate you being here. You said Sermon or Whittington. Ooh, we are getting into juicy territory in the mud. Shaiwan coming in as always. I will be going with Jordan Whittington with what it's looking like no Cooper Kupp this week. That makes me feel good to roll back in some Jordan Whittington over a guy like Trey Sermon, because Trey Sermon, as much as I want to believe that he'll be the starter, I mean, we were seeing Goodson get a ton of work as well. So I lean with the Jordan Whittington side there, Shaiwan. But like I said, guys, bunch of this has been awesome. Fire away those last second start sit streams. I'm starting to get hungry. I just started streaming though. I know it's been like 18 minutes, but I want to answer all your final questions. So here we go. Zach says, you got Ayuk and I do not trust him. Yeah, no, I feel that. Alan said, I have these handcuff running backs on the bench. Trey Benson, Zach Sharps, Blake Corum, Jalen Wright, Kamani Vidal. Should I drop someone to pick up Roshan Johnson or Braylon Allen? Yeah, personally, bro, I do have Roshan and Braylon. I'd pick up both those guys. I like keeping Sharps. I think the ones that I would drop, I think I would drop Corum and then I would drop Wright. Corm and Wright. I know I talked about him in my stash video yesterday, Alan, but I do have Roshan and Braylon Allen rated higher than them. So I would do Wright and Corm, Sia, add Braylon, and add Roshan Johnson there, Alan. Your boy said full PPR start Ayuk or Mason. Oh, your boy. Your boy. Having to do this to me. At this point in the morning, asking me if I'd start. This is not where I wanted to be. Personally, I would be starting Brandon Ayuk. It's a terrible front seven that our boy Jordan Mason's gonna have to go up against the Chiefs. But I do get worried because we've seen the inconsistencies, the ton of inconsistencies from Brandon Ayuk. So I feel like I'm stretching myself on this question, your boy. But I personally go with Brandon Ayuk. Of course I won. And your boy said full PPR start Chase Brown or Devon. Ooh. In my heart, it says Chase Brown as a Bengals fan. But I think I'm going to start Devon versus the Colts. It's in Indianapolis. Should be a good day for Devon to get some run. Hopefully this offense can kind of turn itself around. Not that Tyler Huntley is at all a great quarterback, but could they scheme up some ways to get Devon involved? I like Devon. Patricia said, you the man. Got one more. Full appreciate you, Mr. Trace. Ask all the questions. Goodson, Ray Davis, Warren as my choice. Fidel. Thank you. Yeah, let me pull up the running back rankings here real quick. And then we got, I think I'm leaning. It's always fun for me to I forget how some of these deeper ones. I go with Goodson here. I think he's going to get the most upside out of all these options. So I do lean the Gibson side there for you, Mr. Trace. And then the roasted Drake, Mayer, Justin Herbert, and Dynasty as a Chargers fan. It kills me to even ask this. It's crazy. It's crazy that you even have to ask this. I think it's just so reactionary, the role. I feel like we are a weapon away from getting Justin Herbert. I think at this point, though, it's probably going to be Drake May, just because it's always in Dynasty. It's more like, what have you done for me recently? Same way Jaden Daniels is now like the QB1. I think Justin Herbert's a great buy low, though, to be fair. Mondo said, start Kincaid or Parkinson, tight end premium. Mondo, I personally will be going with Dalton Kincaid this week. Let me just give you where I have him ranked. I have Dalton Kincaid ranked as my tight end 9, and I have Parkinson as my tight end 13. So 5 spots apart. But Mondo, I'll say this. As much as you're probably struggling with your tight end rankings, so the heck am I. Because I rank my tight ends, and they go out there. The studs suck on the weeks I need them to be good, and then they perform in the weeks where I'm like, I'm done with you. The tight end landscape, it's been terrible, Mondo. But thanks so much for tuning in, man. I would go with Kincaid. Yo, shout out to David. You say good evening from Hong Kong. Which tight end? Ooh. I'm going with Jonnu Smith. I like Jonnu Smith in this Indianapolis Colts matchup as a sneaky tight end, bro. For sure. Bro, I can't believe it's so late. You are now about to just watch some football. What time do you go to bed? Do you work Monday morning over in Hong Kong? Goodness. I can't imagine. I'm just happy I'm on the East Coast here in the States. So even though it's late, at the end, when I make my video tonight and post it, it's super late, but it's fine. Your boy said full PPR start 1, Mostert, Leggett, Hopkins, Lockett, Wandell. Should I drop Pearsall or Tolbert? One of the guys listed above need to drop one. If you need to drop one, I personally would just drop I'd drop Ricky, because you have some other I would prefer to start Tolbert over Ricky, so I would just drop Ricky, which is terrible to say. I do think Ricky's a really great stash, but in leagues like this where we have options, in regards to which one I would start this week, it's between Lockett and Wandell. And let me pull up. I don't love Wandell, of course, with Neighbors back, but I do like him more than I do Lockett. So I personally would go with Wandell Robinson, your boy, as your starting option. Boom. And then I would drop Ricky for sure. So, like I said, guys, fire away those last second start sit questions. We're probably going to be, I know I just started streaming. We've been streaming for like 23 minutes, but was just going to do a quick little 30-minute stream before we bounce and get ready for football. So if any final start sit questions come in, I 100% will be answering them. If you guys are just hanging out, chilling with me before we get to Monday's game or Sunday afternoon games, I appreciate y'all so much. You guys are the best. Your boy said full PPR, Chase Brown or Ayuk. I have Brandon Ayuk higher in my rankings, so I lean Brandon Ayuk. But in my heart of hearts, your boy, I probably go with Chase Brown, rankings aside. So depends. Do you want to go with your head or your gut? And sometimes you got to make that decision, your boy. So I'll tell you Chase Brown because I'm rolling out Chase Brown in a few leagues. So I'll go with my gut here on a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, depending on if you're on Eastern Standard Time. But like I said, guys, appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Thanks so much for all of the love that you guys have been showing. We're on the way. We're grinding to 4,000 subscribers. So more content. Hopefully you guys win your week 7 matchups. We're going to be helping you guys win your week 8 matchups, helping you continuing to go through the season. So let me know what questions I can answer for you if I haven't already answered them for you. But like I said, guys, I just really appreciate all the love that y'all have been showing me. Means the absolute world. But we'll get out of here. Y'all get out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace so much.